Hi there, guys. My name is Kellen. It's a pleasure to get to talk to you for a few minutes today. Before I get too into it, we are going to start selling these shirts for a little while. We're only going to sell a very limited amount of them. We're only selling this orange and black one for just as long as we have them and until we run out. And we'll probably never ever redo this orange and black theme again. So if you are interested, just shoot me a DM over Instagram at Lowso Stance. And I think we're going to do like the payment system through PayPal. That way you're safe with your money as well and can get it refunded or whatever. Not saying you would have to, just that if a crazy situation arose, you would be safe as well. So a question I frequently get asked is, should I buy a 350 or should I keep saving my money and get a 370Z? I'm going to try to do this as unbiased as possible. Although I do personally see a lot of advantages to the Z33 platform, I'm going to try to lay them out as fair as possible for you guys without picking one over the other. But I already own one over the other, so it's going to be hard for me to not say one or the other. Oh, this is what the back of the shirts look like, by the way. Pretty sweet. The 370Z has a base price right now of around $29,000, and in 2003, when the 350Z originally came out, it was $26,000. Now in the aftermarket community, I can confidently say easily you can find one for $5,000. Don't believe me? Here's a list that I found just this week on the East Coast of them available manual transmission without 200,000 miles for under $5,000. Despite the 370Z being put out almost 10 years ago now, back in 2009, you still can't find one for less than $15,000. So is the 370Z really worth $10,000 more than the 350? I'll leave that up to you guys, but let's dig into my comparison. So the 350Z came out in 2003, and it was a startling change from the grandfather Z32 that it came from. It was highly updated, sporting the naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6, making around 280 wheel horsepower, give or take. Usually they shoot those factory numbers a little bit higher to make it sound better. In comparison to the grandfather 300ZX's naturally aspirated V6, which only made 166, that's nearly half of the power. That's pretty crazy that they upped it that much. However, for the extra money, you can find the twin turbo 300ZXs. They usually run for around 10 grand still at this time. Those make about 300 wheel horsepower, but they are twin turbo, which is pretty cool. It is the same VG30 motor, it's just twin turbo instead of naturally aspirated. Although this is not a direct comparison between the 300ZX and the 350Z, I wanted to show the big difference in models when they changed from the two different chassis right there. It was a very, very large jump. In late 2005, Nissan realized, hey, we can make this thing way faster for basically no trouble at all. And they released to us the VQ35DE rev-up motor. Those were in the 05 through 06, I believe. They're kind of a limited run. Not a lot of people got those, but those stepped it up from a 6,500 RPM red line all the way up to 7,000, which is pretty cool. It upped the horsepower to 290, or I think it was 287 or something like that, but it did give it a jump in horsepower for no different cost to the car. Nissan's final revision to the VQ35 came in 2007 when they released the HR, or the VQ35 HR, or high rev. To everyone's excitement, the new HR came with updated headlights, a new hood design, 2 sporty intakes, and a whopping 311 horsepower produced by the same naturally aspirated V6 engine. This was hands down the best revision of the 350Z yet, and if you're a smart shopper, you'll look for the 07 through 09s because those are the ones that have them. It's easy to tell, just pop the hood, and if it has 2 intakes, that's an HR. This was also their all-time high of selling the Zs, totaling in almost 19,000 models sold in America. Keep that number in your mind, 19,000. That is when it basically hit its peak in North America. As 2009 began and the new 370Z hit the streets, the market had begun to decline already. It started declining, hitting its peak in 2007. You would have thought in 2009 sales would have jumped even with the two combined. and even the two combined was, I believe, 14,000 or something like that. Also, it was the same year that Nissan announced they're discontinuing the beloved 350 and not going to be putting them out anymore. The 370Z was somewhat of an upgraded version. It was sporting a 3.7 liter naturally aspirated V6, but these things only made 322 horsepower. That's not much more. I mean, that's 11 more horsepower than the HRs. This, to me personally, as a Z enthusiast, wasn't like an impressive upgrade. If you look at the way that they did the big jump from the 300ZX to the 350Z, it was really noticeable. And I think what they should have called it was just a 350Z Z34. The same way that the 300ZX had a Z31 and Z32 that were very different but played off the same concepts, or the 240 had the S13 and S14 where they're very similar chassis and play off all the same concepts, but they didn't rename the model. They didn't have to. The 370Z did see a lot of interior and exterior revisions, all closely following the guidelines of its little brother 350Z. Although the body lines were similar, a lot of people seem to prefer the new headlight layout, and I've heard people prefer the full hood look. Some people feel like the front headlights like cut into the hood on a 350Z. This is why you'll see a lot of the angry eyes. Like I even did it back in the day, and I don't know why I did. I love the way the cutouts look, but that's just me. Even the interiors have a very similar layout. They have the same 3 gauge pods, a big cubby box, the same steering columns, basically all the same controls. They really don't look much different. Even the door handles are about the same. Both definitely do have a very good aftermarket community. But the 350Z has been out for like 6 or 7 more years than the 370 and has just gained a lot more popularity in that time. Obviously, it was popular during the Tokyo Drift era, and now it's a staple that you see one at every single drift event, and I'm sure you see a Slam 350 at every car meet you go to. I think in the years to come, when 370s become a lot cheaper, my opinions will change on them. But for now, me personally, I can't see anything justifying $10,000 extra for it. 11 horsepower difference, it just doesn't seem worth it to me personally. As of 2018, by the way, I'm reading now, at an all-time low for selling Zs in United States, and they only sold 3,468 this year. That's pretty crazy, to drop from thousands, tens of thousands, all the way down to 3,500. Like I said, though, it is hard for me to stay biased on a subject like this. I do understand the allure behind the 370, and if you really like the way it looks, then the only point that's going to sway you is probably the cost. I mean, it is faster, I will give you that, and if you're taking out a bank loan and expecting to pay at least $10,000 anyway, then I guess why not shoot for the 370 and get a little bit more horsepower. I personally, in my taste, I just think the 350s look better. Even the DEs. I love the simple lines on the hood. I love the body lines where it looks simple but wide body at the same time, even with stock body. I like the headlights. I like the taillight designs. Everything just feels like it is where it should be. I can't stress enough how amazing of a car this is, especially at the price point that it's at right now. It's a super popular drift-ready chassis that you can buy for under $5,000 and reliably have a car that's just gonna have fun all the time. Adam LZ is one of the best examples of this. He's done a little bit more modifying to it since then. I believe he's added nitrous and stuff like that, but he used to drift it with just a handbrake, welded diff, and I think an intake and exhaust. That's totaling under $600 to modify, and he drifted the crap out of that thing. Like, as you can see, it really takes any kind of abuse you throw at it. Adam, Taylor Ray, and Matt the Ginch have all just beaten on their 350s on their stock motors and been fine. They just really hold up. It's very impressive. The only time they do break, it's usually something pretty nonsense related, and we'll end up letting them drive home still, which is pretty impressive. I can't speak as much to 370s. They're not a popular drift chassis right now. I know $5,000 is not a small amount of money, but I'd much rather drift a car that costs $5,000 than a car that costs $15,000. That is $10,000 in that book is a very big difference. Besides that, I think Nissan ditched a little bit of the cheaper plastic material on the inside on the 370s that I've talked about before, and they conquered some of the other small like issues. I can't really think of any. I really can't think of any that the 370 has that this doesn't. I think the hatchbacks look better on the 350s. I really prefer 350s, and I think they're a great great car for the price they're at right now. I said I wouldn't pick. I already picked. I'm sorry. It is what it is. They're just a great car. At the end of the day, it's up to you though. I can't sway your decision one way or the other. I'm just saying, if you're on the fence, I'm trying to show you every reason why the 350 is killer right now. You cannot get a better price on a car than that. That's really all I gotta say on the topic. Clearly I picked a 350. I guess that's really about it. Oh, I think we're trying to keep the shirts stateside, by the way. I know we got a couple viewers outside. Shout out to Ron. He watches all the videos. So what's up, Ron? That's my man. But I think we're gonna try to keep all the shirts stateside for now. They might sell out pretty fast. We only have small through extra large. But I guess that's really it, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace!